So welcome. Thank you for being here on the info session on Erasmus Plus. This info session is organized and co-organized by SALTO EuroMed and the French National Agency. So today we will talk mainly on key action 1 and 2, which are open for the partner countries, and we will also briefly talk about SALTOs, national agencies, and how the program works. My name is Irma. I work in SALTO EuroMed. Before we start, maybe Mathurin, you can say your name as well.
Yeah, no problem. So I am Mathurin Leroux. You can call me Matt if needed. I am a sport officer within the French Erasmus Plus National Agency, and I'm part of the department that is responsible for the management of youth and sport mobility projects. And so I'm here today with Irma to talk to you a bit more about what are the call for projects that are open to Southern Mediterranean countries in the youth field.
Thank you. So now I will share my screen. And let's start the presentation. So this is the general content of this info session. We will start by talking about SALTOs, what is the current network of SALTOs. Then we will talk about SALTO EuroMed's general objectives and missions. Then we will present Erasmus Plus in general, and we'll basically talk about 3KA1 action projects and 1KA2 project, which is cooperation partnerships. Let's start with SALTO. Most of you, maybe you already know us, but maybe you're wondering what does that mean and what do we do? And SALTO basically means support advanced learning and training opportunities. And our general aim is to improve the quality and the impact of both programs, European Solidarity Corps and Erasmus Plus at a systemic level. So our target group basically is national agencies, youth, and youth organizations. As you might know, or maybe not, Erasmus Plus has two fields of action. The first one is youth, and the second one is education and training. Maybe you've already heard about some exchanges between the universities and the formal education part of Erasmus Plus, but today we will only focus on youth part of Erasmus Plus projects. In terms of SALTOs, we have 11 different SALTOs. Some of them, they only work in youth field. Some of them, they only work in formal education and training. You will have the slide on that. And some of them, they work on both fields. And you will get 3 regional SALTOs because in the program countries, you will have national agencies which are mainly responsible of the implementation of Erasmus Plus projects. But we do not have the same system. We do not have the national agencies in the regions. So this is why the European Commission has founded 3 different regional SALTOs, one in Eastern Europe and Caucasus, the second one in Southeast Europe, and the third one in EuroMed. We are called SALTO EuroMed, and as I've mentioned very briefly, in terms of how the system of Erasmus Plus works, you will have program countries and you will have partner countries. And in program countries, you have national agencies, and the youth organizations can directly apply for the funds to their national agencies. But the system is different in the neighboring and partner countries, and there are no national agencies, but there are some regional SALTOs. So youth organizations from the regions, they will need to have partners from the program countries in order to access the funds and in order to implement Erasmus Plus projects. So this is why they need an extra push, they need an extra support from regional SALTOs to find new partners and to implement also the quality projects. In terms of geographical coverage, SALTO EuroMed covers 10 countries. which are listed on this slide, which are Algeria, Egypt, Israel, Jordan, Lebanon, Morocco, Palestine, Tunisia. We also have Libya and Syria, but none of them are active right now. And the target group, the same as I've already mentioned, the youth organizations, youth, and also the national agencies who we help out in implementation of the quality projects. So let's talk about Erasmus Plus now. Was this a question? Maybe not. So I will continue the presentation of Erasmus Plus in the field of youth. As you've seen, we have two different fields in Erasmus Plus, and today we will only talk about Erasmus Plus key actions in the field of youth, and also in Southern Mediterranean countries. But everything that we say about the Southern Mediterranean countries, it also applies to the program countries. We only focus on key actions that are open for our region. In terms of objectives, we will have different objectives in Erasmus Plus program. The first one will be to promote learning mobility of individuals and groups, as well as cooperation, quality, inclusion, creativity, and innovation at the level of organizations. The second objective will be to promote non-formal and informal learning mobility. And the third one is to promote learning mobility of sports staff. Mathurin, for example, he works on this field, and he basically promotes Erasmus Plus programs to promote learning mobility of sports staff. The program Erasmus Plus has 4 priorities. We will have at first inclusion and diversity. We will have environmental protection, digital transformation, and participation in democratic life. And in terms of key actions, that means the type of fundings that you can get and type of projects that you can implement. In Erasmus Plus, we have 3 key actions. First key action is on mobility of individuals. The second one is on cooperation among organizations and institutions. And the third one is on supporting the policy development and cooperation. As I've mentioned earlier, today we will not talk about key action 3. We will only cover some parts of KA1 action and only one part of KA2 action. So the Erasmus Plus is funded and created by the European Commission, and it's the European Commission who manages the overall budget and implementation of all the key actions. It's the European Commission which sets priorities and criteria for the program and guides and monitors the implementation and the follow-up of each KA1 action. Then in terms of technical implementation, budget-wise and also quality-wise, we will have the European Education and Culture Executive Agency, which is based in Brussels and basically manages the third key action. And then we have national agencies in each program countries that will have the annual budget and that will manage most part of the key action 2 and KA1 actions in Erasmus+. In terms of geographical coverage, I have mentioned program countries and partner countries, but this is not the exact terminology that is used in the program guide. So the words that we use in the program guide, it will be member states of the European Union and the third countries, which are program countries, then third countries associated to the program. Although they are not part of the European Union, they still are program countries. That would mean that they will have the direct access to the funding. And then we will have third countries non-associated to the program that we call partner countries or neighboring countries. In terms of neighboring countries, we will have three regions. As I've mentioned, we have three regional SALTOs, and each of them, they are responsible of their region. We have the first region that is Western Balkan countries, the second region that is Eastern neighborhood, and the third region for which we basically work, the 10 countries in Southern Mediterranean area that we've mentioned earlier. So for the regions, and this is a small focus on the regions, as they do not have the national agencies, EU Commission created regional SALTOs, and you got the idea. Our main objective is to promote the youth, EU-funded youth opportunities for youth workers and for youth, to provide with them with some training opportunities, and also to enhance the international collaboration between program countries and our region. But we also have national Erasmus Plus offices, and in each country, in the neighboring region, you will have one national Erasmus Plus office that will be in charge of promoting Erasmus Plus opportunities, reaching out to potential beneficiaries and helping them out in understanding what is Erasmus Plus in order to be part of the program. So a lot of information, but this was a general overview of Erasmus Plus with a small focus on the regions and on how it works. Now we will start presenting those four key actions that I've mentioned. And Matihan, I will give you the floor.
Thank you very much, Irma. So now we are talking more specifically about the kind of projects that can be led within the mobility in the youth field. So first of all, youth exchanges. So you'll see the code name, which is KA152. Yes, but you can switch to the next slide, Irma. So what is this kind of project? What are the youth exchanges? So youth exchanges are a project that are made to make meet two group of young people. What do we call young people? So it's people aged from 13 to 30 years old. The minimum number of participants for this project is 16. So it means that you need to have at least two groups of 8 young people that meet. And what are they supposed to do during this project? Well, the objective is to have an activity where these at least two groups, but it can be more. You can have 3 or 4 partners in one project. Each partner is choose a group and create a group of young people. They meet, and then the objective is that during the activities, these young people are exchanging, discussing about topics that are related to the priorities of the Erasmus Plus program, to priorities, also specific priorities of the youth sector, the youth field of the Erasmus Plus program. So it is really linked with this idea of interculturality, of civic engagement, of developing new skills through these exchanges with non-formal education. That's yeah, really the philosophy and the spirit of youth exchanges. The activity, so it means the duration of these moments where those young people meet, sorry, it's from 5 to 21 days. You can add a few days for travel time, because we know that when you have some partners that are in foreign countries, that can be a bit far, and if you don't meet in the big cities, but you want to go also sometimes in some other areas that are a bit further than big cities with airports, you need some times to travel. So we can have a few extra days to take in account those travel time. And you can have several activities in one project also. what kind of activities you can have? So to fill and to have to fulfill the objectives of the project that we talked before, of interculturality, of making young people developing new skills and having more civic engagements. We can have like workshops, exercise, debates between those young people. We can also use sports, cultural activities, things like that as a tool for non-formal education with young people. So it's really wide. It's really up to the organization that are applying, that are building the project to come with their own idea and with their own way to work, because that's really the spirit of what we want to do with those mobility projects. We don't want to have to predefined or prefixed kind of activities and projects. It's really up to the applicants and the partners to build together the projects that correspond to their needs, to their objectives, and to what they want to do with the participants. So you need at least 2 organizations that will be part of the partnership. The organization can be non-profits, NGOs, public bodies, or informal group of young people, and they must be established in a program country or partner country neighboring the EU, but the applicant, so the one who will be in charge to fill the form and to ask on the online platform for the funding, has to be established in a program country. So it means that for EuroMed countries, organizations that are based in EuroMed countries, you need a partner that is in a program country and that will be in charge of applying and asking for the funding directly to the national agency of his country. Yeah, I think it was most of it. You can have funding for also for the travel costs, for some exceptional costs you could face because you work with specific participants, or because you have some needs due to the place you come from, due to the kind of activity you want to do. You can have also funding for organizational support, and active implementation. So there is some fixed amount of money corresponding to to some kind of cost you may face for the organization of this project. And when you apply, you give all the information about what are the kind of activities you want to do, where you want to go, with how many young people, where are they coming from for the travel, etc. And that will make automatically the calculation for the funding that could be given for this project. And now we just wanted to share with you some example of projects. So these are not real projects, but just example to show you that the idea is to have projects that are linked with priorities of the Erasmus Plus program. So as you can see, there is one on sustainability and one on digital. So that's something that is important for us to be sure that there is a direct link between one at least of the 4 Erasmus Plus priorities and the project we are funding. And also give you an example of the activities we can have on this kind of project. So it can be a really, you will have a lot of choices of activities you can have. You can have cultural things, sports activities, you can have workshops, debates, but it has to be activities where the young people are taking a big part of it. They are the main participants. They are the one that are taking the most of it to develop their own skills and to take something from this project that can help them in the future to be more engaged in the in their civic life. Then youth participation activities. So this one is really specific about the civic engagement of young people. It's the difference between this kind of project and youth exchanges is this one is not specifically made for exchanges. The idea is you are an organization, you work with young people, you want to make them more committed or more engaged on one subject you identify, and you can have this kind of project. You can be alone or you can be with other countries. When you can be alone if you come from a program country because it's the same principle as before. But if you are an organization based in a program country and you want to work with an organization based in a EuroMed country, you can have several participants. Each one has its own group of young people that they want to make participate to this kind of project. Who can participate? The same principle as before. Young people from 13 to 30. Its specific objective are to encourage young people to engage in exchanges, cooperation, and civic actions, to promote innovative and digital forms of youth participation, to facilitate dialogues between youth and decision makers, and to support inclusion of youth from diverse backgrounds. You have a total duration of the project that is from 3 months to 2 years. In that frame time, you can have as many activities as you want. The idea is for you, once again, as an applicant with your partner to decide what are the best activities to organize regarding to what are your objectives, what are also the people you're working with, will they be available, how long and when during the year. So with that duration that can be quite short and quite long, you are really free to build your project in a way that suits to your planning, your own planning, and your way to work. Once again, the workshops you have will be the activities you will have, sorry, will be workshop training sessions, but you can have also more specifically like engage activities like awareness raising campaigns, meeting with decision makers, cultural event and artistic performance. You can also have visits of political institutions that can be something that can be an activity in this kind of project. For the participating organization, it's exactly the same conditions as before in youth exchanges. And it's also the same principle for the funding and support. You have a fixed amount base for every kind of cost, and the calculation is made automatically when you are doing the application. One of the good side of it is that you don't have to make your own budget to calculate by yourself. Also, the fixed amount is supposed to be covering all of the budget of the project, but as it's a fixed amount, sometimes regarding of your specific condition, the moment you want to organize one activity, the specific context, you go to a city, there is a big event in this city, so the accommodations are quite expensive, for example, that can be some things that make the cost, the real cost, more than expected at the end. So it's also some things to take in account and to be sure that you have planned enough time in advance not to be surprised by the effective cost of the project. So here are some examples of projects. So the idea here is to show that it's really projects where the young people are supposed to really take part of it, being the main character of this kind of project and be here to speak, to make their voice heard through meetings, through training, to learn how to speak in public, to speak about some civic engagement topic that are important for us and for them, of course. So that's the difference you will have between a youth participation project and a youth exchange, for example. Then the last K1, so mobility project in youth field we want to share with you, it's mobility for youth workers. So here the idea is not anymore to focus on the youth people, but on the young people, but on the youth workers, so the people that are working with those young peoples, to make them develop their skills and to learn by exchanges with other youth workers from other organizations. So this time there is no more limit of age. It's anyone who is considered as a youth worker. The kind of objective you will have is to provide those youth workers opportunity to learn and exchange knowledge with other peers. To build a community of youth workers to support high-quality projects and activities, to enhance diversity awareness and inclusion strategies among youth workers. So the idea is really for this project to be a moment where those people working with young people that have their own planning and activity at the local scale take this moment to meet new people with other cultural background, with other expertise and experiences, to make them share their knowledge and how they learn, because we know they can learn a lot from that. Just sometimes with few discussions in an informal context, it can help you a lot to understand how you work, how you could improve what you're doing with young people, and that's really the thing we want to do with this kind of project. The duration is from 3 months to 2 years, with activities of mobility that start from 2 days to 60 days, with also this time the possibility of add some travel days. So it can be really short, it can be a weekend, it can be a few days, and it gives you the opportunity to find easily have availability for youth workers to take part of it. So here the activity are quite different from the two mobility project we've seen before, because here it's more question of doing some job shadowing, some study visits, some exchanges, networking. The idea is really to give an opportunity to those youth workers to meet new people they wouldn't have met in another context, because they don't have time, they don't have the money to implement this kind of project, they don't have opportunity sometimes also to meet new people from other countries working on the same topics. So that's really the amount of the kind of activity we want to have in this kind of project. Complementary, we can have some preparatory visits that can help also this kind of project to be implemented. Sometimes you have a partner you don't know yet, you don't know how you will be able to get there to organize yourself all the activities you plan when you will be in another country. So this kind of preparatory visit, it's an opportunity for the partners to meet before the main activities, and to organize it in a way that they will be more comfortable with the main activities then. You have also system development and outreach activities that aim to enhance the impact of the mobility project. So here it's more a question of sustainability. How can I be sure that this project will give me something that will help me in my work as youth worker, that will help my organization? What are the tools I can create from this project to make these benefits last in time? So for participating organization, once again, no surprise, it's the same for every youth mobility project. It's for non-for-profit organization, NGOs, public bodies that are established in a program country or a partner country neighboring the EU. The organization must be established in a program country or a partner country neighboring the EU, and the applicant organization, so the one that will be submitting the application on the online platform, must be established in a program country. And once again, for the funding and support, the same as I said for the two mobility project before. You give all the information, where you go, how many people are going, and how long they will stay, and then you will have the budgets that will be calculated automatically. So here are two examples of projects. So the idea, as every time, is what are the needs of the youth worker and the organization. So what is the common objective they could have with partners to discuss? That's something important, to be sure that your partner is also um, sharing your objectives, or because he's an expert in this subject, so he can brings to you some good practices, or because he wants also to be more efficient, to be better and to improve himself in this specific topic. So you will try to work together to be better on the topic you targeted. So it can be inclusion, it can be mental health. Here are two examples of topics that are important in the Erasmus Plus program related to the priorities we showed before. And yeah, and that's it. We can yeah, have a few words when we talk. Is the last slide about mobility projects, but this is something important to know. We have a system of accreditation for youth mobility projects. So it means that some organizations, they ask for this accreditation because they showed in the past that they have some, they already had some projects of mobility in the youth sector. So they are quite expert in how you apply, in how you manage this kind of project. And so they ask for a duration of a year to receive some fundings for several projects. So they don't have to apply every year or every 6 months with a new project. They only ask for an accreditation, and then on the long term, they receive some money to do, I don't know, for example, 3 youth exchanges, 1 mobility of youth workers, and 1 youth participation project. And so they are more free to create their project and to implement it, because in the past they developed those skills and experience and expertise about youth mobility project. So if you have the opportunity to meet some organization that is accredited, you have to know that these are good partners that are really experts in youth mobility project, that are easily possible and easily yeah, in able, yeah, that's the word I wanted to have. They are really able to easily implement and be funded for Erasmus Plus Youth Mobility Project. So these are the good partners you have to find. So that was it for the Youth Mobility Project. Then we'll go to the cooperation partnerships. So these are more long-term and ambitious, I would say, projects you have. The idea is to found projects of transnational cooperation between organizations on a shared need and objective they have. So, for example, I don't know, you have a specific public, young people with disability you want to work with, you want to develop new tools, but you feel that alone you cannot be as good as working with other organizations in other countries that have the same problematic, but that have a complementary point of view. So they work on the same subject, but maybe with a different approach, a different point of view, with another expertise and other experiences. And by working together, you will be able to create new tools, new methodology that can help you in your activities and can also be useful for other organizations. So yeah, the idea is really to increase the capacity of organization to cooperate at an international scale, to boost the international network of organization and their ability to work with organization based in other countries, to also have a platform to develop the new tools that are created. So it's this idea of sustainability, how this organization can share with others the good practice they have, how can they create together other good practices that can also be used by all the organizations that are interested. That's the main point of cooperation project. And the last point I wanted to talk about on this slide is the duration. As you can see, it's from 1 year to 3 years. So it's as I said before, it's more long-term projects, long-term cooperations, and also with higher ambitions regarding the outputs you will create from these projects. Here, the activities also are linked with what I said. You have more times. You have also more money, usually with this kind of project. So you will have wider options of activities to implement. You can have peer learning and workshops. You can have seminar. You can have conferences organized to raise awareness among your networks. You will have to implement some dissemination activities to make know the outputs of your projects. Yeah, you have a lot of opportunity, a lot of options of activities you can implement in this kind of project. Regarding the participating organization, you need at least three organizations from 3 different countries. I would add you need 3 organizations from 3 program countries, and then you can add a partner from other regions. So for EuroMed country-based organization, you can be this 4th partner of the project, but you need at least to have, first of all, 3 countries, 3 program countries that are represented in the partnership. There is not a maximum number of partners, but you have to take in account that the more partners you have, the lower is the share of money and you have to share. So also the money is related to what activities you are responsible for. So it's something to take to have in mind when you build this project, to have a partnership that is well balanced between every partner, and to be sure that the role of everyone is relevant regarding to their capacity, to their resources, and then also to have a balanced share of the funding that is given. So the funding it's a fixed funding, so you ask for 120,000 euros or 250,000 euros or 400,000 euros. And if you ask for one of these 3 amounts, you have to justify why you ask for this one. What are the activities you will have? What are the costs related to these activities? And so why you ask this budget. Something important to take into account is that the work time people from the partnership are giving to the project are taking in account in the funding. So funding is not only to pay travel costs, to pay some events, it's also for the time you will spend on it. Yeah, here are 2 examples of projects. So once again, we can see topics that are linked with the priorities we shown before, gender equality and how to develop pedagogical tools through the gamification. But here the idea is also to show that we talk about methodologies, tool, things that will last, and outputs that can be shared with other organizations in the future. That's really the spirit of cooperation partnerships. You have more time, you have more money, you have a lot of activities you can implement, because the expectation from us is to have some results that can last in time and that can be useful for your field, for your network, and for any organization that are working on the same subject. So in these projects that are more ambitious and bigger, I would say we have more expectation also on how you manage the project. So it's important to have in mind this project cycle. All the planning part is mainly before the application, or when you're preparing really the application for your project. You have to identify the specific needs and interests of the target groups. So the target group is the young people. It's really important on the youth field of Erasmus Plus to have this idea of every project has to be linked with the needs of young people. So it's up to any organization to choose what is the most relevant need for the young people they are working with and for their activities. But that's really what we want. We have to define clear and measurable objectives for your project that are linked with the Erasmus Plus priorities. These we need these objectives to be measurable and clear, because it will help us then in the promotion and the evaluation of the project to understand well how good you've been or not, what are the good things you've made, and what are the results we can share from your project. And also, yeah, in the planning, everything about the partnerships, who will be the leader, who will be on charge of this part of the project, of this activity, etc., is something really important. So then you can enter in the preparation phase of the project, where you will develop a timeline and a work plan that is clear, that will help you during your project to know when I have to prepare this, when do we have to work on that activity, etc. To have then good participants to ensure inclusivity and diversity, and then to have also all the logistical aspects of this project that are taken in account, to identify the risk and every kind of difficulties you could face during this project. It's really important to prepare all this before your project to be sure you don't have any bad surprise when you implement it. So then you implement your project. You will have some activities. Sometimes it happened well. Sometimes you have to adapt. You have to change some things. In Erasmus Plus project, as you applied a few months before your project starts, we always have some flexibility about what are exactly the activities you're going to implement. So it's something to have in mind that when you apply, when you're funded, you are committed to implement a project you ask to, but if you are transparent with the national agency that funded the project, if you explain well, and if you work well with your partner, you always have possibilities to change some things, because we never know, this activity is not possible anymore, we would like to change, we are not available at that moment, so we have to modify a bit the timeline of our project. That's always something that is possible also. And then the last phase, but not the less important, of course, the follow-up of the project. So once the project is done, what are the results? How will we share it? How do we communicate about our project to make sure that other organizations know that we worked on that and we created tools that can be useful for them? But also, how do I use them now as an organization to improve what I do and to be more efficient in my work? So yeah, that was it. That was a lot of information, I suppose. But now, don't hesitate if you have any question. Of course, I would be glad, and I suppose Irma too, to answer it and to help you in any future partnership you could have in an Erasmus Plus project.
And before we start the questions, just the last slide is about our contacts. You'll see our email here, the website, also the Facebook page, which might be very useful. if you followed us because we publish a lot of interesting things there, and our location is in Paris, France. So, question time.
I have one